channel. So today we are on day 9 of our Purpose Driven Life readings. So on day 9, it's just basically asking what makes God smile. This book is telling us that sole purpose, or at least the first purpose of our life, or the goal of our life, is actually to please God, and that is to make Him smile. They said there are a lot of things that we can do to make Him smile. If we know that the purpose is actually to make Him smile, to please Him, we should actually know how to do it. The best way to do that is to actually learn from the Bible. The perfect example that this book is sharing is actually Noah. During the time of Noah, before he built the ark, the Lord was actually, God is not pleased of what everybody's doing in the earth. And he wanted to wipe out everyone, like clean the earth. But Noah is the only being that is stopping him to do that. Because he was so pleased with Noah, he actually connected with Noah and asked him to build the ark. And since Noah has a tremendous love towards God, like he loves Him supremely and he follows Him and trusts Him with all his heart, he followed what God asked him to do. And because of that, we are all saved, we are all here. It was only Noah's family who was left and, who had continued to live in this earth. It was in his generation. This day 9 actually tells us 5 important acts of worship that actually makes God happy and pleased with us. So the first one is God smiles when we love Him supremely. When you say supremely, He is the most important being in our life. We should love Him more than anybody else, more than anything else. It is their way of saying that loving God supremely is God's way of asking us to build a relationship with Him, a relationship that is so strong, that is so important compared to any relationship that we can actually have in our lifetime. And even when I was young, my mom always tells me that in terms of priority, her number one priority is God. Second is us, her children, her family. Third, I think the list goes on, but she would always tell us that we should always put God at the center of everything. And if we do that, all the good things will follow. We should not think about a lot of things. We should not focus with a lot of things because that will just only make us go astray. That would only make us, go away from God. But putting Him at the center of our life and, loving Him supremely would actually makes everything fall into place. Second is God smiles when we trust Him completely. This trusting Him completely can be tested when we are actually at a time in our life where we are feeling alone, when we don't know what to do, when we feel like everything is falling apart and we are lost. If you're not holding tight to God, you will just get lost and don't know what to do. You will just be like gone. It's very difficult to do that. But on the other hand, there are days in my life where I feel like I can't do anything anymore. It's out of my control. And it's not that hard to actually trust and leave and surrender everything to God. The Bible said that He takes pleasure in those that honor Him, in those who trust in His constant love. So the mere fact that we are trusting Him, our life, our dreams, our aspirations, even our pain, it gives Him pleasure. It was also mentioned in the Bible that without faith, it is impossible to please God. So without faith, it is impossible to trust God. Third, God smiles when we obey Him wholeheartedly. I think obeying Him wholeheartedly is kind of difficult because we humans, we believe that we actually obey God, but we just tend to obey Him when it's actually convenient for us or it is what we wanted. There are times, or probably most of the times, we actually obey partially. When we know that what is the right thing to do, we don't do it directly. We sometimes say we need to think about it, we have to pray about it. This book tells us that understanding can wait. but obedience can't. So doing that, like we are trying to procrastinate or like to slow down following or doing what God asks us to do, is an automatic disobedience. It's kind of difficult though. Like there are rules or plans that we wanted to do, that God wants us to do, and then we only wanted to do 50% of that, 60% of that. Even if we do, let's say, 99% of that, if 1% we didn't do what God asked us, then that 99% obedience is totally 100% disobedience. It's not easy. 100% obedience means trusting God completely, means having faith that He knows what is best for our life. Even though we don't understand, the process, even if we're hurting, even if we're struggling, everything that is happening in our life is part of God's plan. No matter how difficult it is, we should just trust that His plans will bring out the better versions, or probably the best versions of ourselves. Fourth, God smiles when we praise and thank Him continually. I think this is one of the things that I always try to do. Like when I wake up in the morning, I thank Him for the life that He had given me, for the another day to live. And I also thank Him for the people that I love that are still with me, that are safe, smallest of things that we normally take for granted. But it's something that is very, very important. Thank Him for all the blessings, for the food that I would eat today, for my job, for anything, for everything. So, and sometimes even when I go out, I also ask for, protection. So whenever I go home, I thank Him that I'm safe, that everything's okay, not just with me, but with the people that I love. I think having a grateful heart would make you feel content in life, would make you choose happiness all the time. Number 5, God smiles when we use our abilities. I think this is more of our abilities are also a gift from God. And God has given us these gifts for us to share and not only to keep within ourselves. He would probably has given us this gift for the benefit of others, for His glory, and not for us. It's basically for other people or for the common good of everyone. So we should actually try to find that, how we can actually use that gifts, in bringing the purpose of God in our life. Of all these acts of worship that I have discussed, we should also not forget that God enjoys watching every details of our life. He was the one who made us. And since God is our Father, He also wants us to enjoy life. He knows that we are not perfect. But if we really strive harder and put in our heart that our goal is to actually please Him, we would be able to make it through. We would be able to win life by God's grace. We should also not forget that God has generously given us everything for our enjoyment. When He created us, being the steward of this earth, of His creations, He also wants us to enjoy this. And at the same time, put in our hearts that we should also consider our neighbors, the people around us, not just our family, but everybody. So the points that this 9th day reading tells us, God smiles when we trust Him. The first to remember, the Lord is pleased with those who worship Him and trust His love. The question that we have to consider, since God knows what is best, in what areas of my life do I need to trust Him the most? I think for me, the areas of my life that I need to trust Him the most are the unknown, the uncertain, things that I'm not aware of, things that I do not know, that I shouldn't be worried about or so. I think it also applies to everybody. But in general, we should actually always trust God in all the areas of our life, so we would live a fruitful and a purpose-driven life. Thank you for watching, and God bless everybody.